I want to make this video because, like, I've had a lot of guys say that they think Arsenal's gonna win the league this season, and I'm like, I literally don't see why guys think that. I literally don't see why. I mean, I guess the signing of Gyökeres is like a statement signing, but like, for me, even from my previous videos, you should understand that like, I honestly don't see where Arteta is taking the team, because like, I think from last season till even now in the preseason, you see, I really think Arsenal is getting worse in terms of like the football they play. Because like, and I've said this in a previous video, like last season's football was almost unbearable to watch, and that's what we've been seeing in preseason right now. And like, for me, that's like, it's a show of lack of evolution as a team, and it's like everything that went wrong last season, it's like Arteta is doubling down on them. And I know, like, even before this Villarreal game, like, there was some speculation that, oh, Arteta will evolve his game to, like, suit the striker more. And I'm like, that's not what you've seen. Like, even most Arsenal teams, from the time from Wenger, like, we've never been a striker friendly team, let me say that. Because, like, even when we had Lacazette and Auba, it was rare that we were playing to their strengths. And I'm like, from what I see from Arteta, he's so strict about his tactics and like patterns of play, and like how like you see his football is constantly slow. And like, for me, I'm asking myself, like, is all of that really going to suit Gyökeres? Because like, even from my previous video, there's a reason why I preferred Sesko over Gyökeres. Because like, I knew with how Sesko was playing last season for Leipzig, if he came to the Arsenal team, he could translate that. But with Gyökeres, his football is so front, like it's front foot football. He expects balls in behind, like he expects there to be space. And I'm like, in an Arsenal team where our striker is Havertz, and most of the time he's not even in the box. He's like, he's la- he's looking for the ball outside the box. I'm like, that doesn't suit Gyökeres' style of football. And I don't believe in Arteta to suddenly evolve his football to become fast paced. And I'm like, that's where, like, for me, that's where the doubt comes in. Because, like, Arsenal, if you look at our team, like, it should be a title winning team. It's so easy. Like, we have so many good players. And, like, even the signings we've made this season, like, look at Mosquera. Even in that Villarreal game, he was so good. Look at Zubimendi, even though we're not playing to his strength. But you see, like, with the limited time he's been given, he's so good on the ball. Constantly looks forward. And I'm like, will Arteta get the best out of these players? Because, like, um, uh, even, okay, even though you were someone like me, I was against the Madueke signing. But when when our wingers are Martinelli and Trossard, and you just watch even the preseason, Martinelli has just been terrible. Like, you can, I've said this before, like in a previous video. To me, Martinelli was never a winger. He was a striker. Like, we were forced to play him there, and it seems people don't understand that his best strengths are like running in behind and finishing. And clearly, Arteta doesn't know how to get the best out of him. Then when you look at Trossard might be a winger, but bro, we need pace on the wing. Like I've said, like Trossard is good on the ball, but you know he can't beat his man, especially for pace. And you know most Premier League fullbacks have pace. It's like it's a compulsory part of the game. And I'm like, when you sign Madueke, and you're saying you want him to play on the left, that's well and good, but the question is, will he be able to perform as good as a recognized left winger? That's why, like, most Arsenal fans were in for Rodrigo and were expecting Rodrigo. And for me, like, I'd love someone like Leao to be playing on the wing, because as much as I like Madueke as a footballer, I don't think his best strengths are on the left. I think they're best on the right, where he gets to cut in and cross, and he can take on his man by showing him either left or right. And when you put him on the wing, like, you've cut off the avenue of like a player who can cut inside, because now like you've limited him to just crossing the ball, or like being a late finisher, or like depending on how you want to play him. But still, like, you've made his football one. You put him on the left will make his football one dimensional, because like we know he won't cut in on his right, and even if he does, like his shot won't be powerful. He's like he's still a left footer playing on the left wing, and like you'll kind of know expect what to get from him, even though he's good on the one-on-ones. And I'm like, if like the whole prospect of us winning the league was our team getting better, because like we see other teams getting better. Liverpool have added Vats and Frimpong and Karkesh. Like, these are all improvements to the team. Look at City. City have bought Rangers and Cherokee. Like, these are all improvements to a team. When I look at Arsenal and we keep signing defenders, like that's well and good, but like our problem since not even since last season, since the season before that, was that we couldn't replicate what happens on the right on the left. And in preseason you just see the same thing. Like, we are so right centric, and I think that comes down to how Odegaard plays and at like Arteta's setup. Because like, but if you watch today's game with Nwaneri playing as the 10, like, you see he has the potential, but he just needs the space. And with how rigid our midfield plays, like, I've said this in a previous video again, like, like that thing for playing Rice so high up, where he's almost close to the striker, it doesn't make sense. Like, for me, it doesn't make any sense, because first of all, Rice is probably one of our best ball carriers. We've seen that he can create. He's always there. Like, he gives 100%. I'm like, if you can just drop him back and play a double pivot, ask him to bomb forward, Ramsey style, like, that will get the best out of the player. It's not just about sticking him forward and expecting anything, like expecting things to happen all of a sudden. Because when you watch Arteta's football, like, it's clear that he expects whatever he does on the training pitch to happen on the game day, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense, because football is the most unpredictable sport. Like, you can't just expect your patterns of play in training to just magically work on a football pitch just because you repeat it all enough times. Like, it doesn't make sense. Football is about momentum, and like, momentum is about adapting to the game on the day. That's why, like, even for me, I don't think Arteta is good enough at like recognizing the like what's needed in a game. Like, I don't think he's there yet, because he's a young coach. He has time to grow, but like, it's like he's learning more from Pep than from Wenger in terms of like the game, where he's so sticky when it comes to like tactics and like patterns of play. And I know I'm saying that a lot, but like, I feel like he should adapt more from Wenger's game in terms of fluidity, in terms of fast-paced football, in terms of like, there's so many things that from Wenger's game that if Arteta could put into modern day Arsenal would become a super team. Because like, I keep asking the question where it's like, how come we can't, like, he can't adapt his game like consistently? Because like, when you watch last season's games until now, like, there is a problem with Arsenal in terms of transition. Like, we are so porous when it comes to transition. Like, it's so easy to play through us when you catch the ball in our patterns of play. Because 3/4 of the time, Rice is so high up, and his strengths are in midfield. I'm like, he's not going to help us in transition, and that compounded even worse when Merino plays there, because the guy is so slow on the translation. Most of the time, he's not helping, and that should have been obvious even since, like, the best example is probably the Champions League. I think first leg or second leg semi final, where Dembele scored. Like, you could see Rice was covering for the fullback, but Merino was nowhere close to the player he should be covering, because he's coming back from the forward line. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, because it just keeps making our team porous. And, like, for example, even the Miles Lewis Kelly at left back. For me, our starting left back should be Calafiori, because he understands. Like, you can see his game understanding is so good. Where, like, he doesn't need to come inside a lot. He knows when to help the winger by just going outside or, like, coming inside. Like, it's so bad. It's so much better. But in terms of Lewis Kelly and, like, Zinchenko, when you put the left back in midfield and you're asking your left centre back to cover that space, when you get a winger that hugs the touchline, 3/4 of the time, if he gets past the centre back, that's a goal. Like, for me, Arteta's football is just like, when I say it keeps getting worse, like, you see even right now, our defense is getting worse. Like, we're not keeping clean sheets. Like, we're just becoming more and more porous. Like, in terms of, like, if you catch us on the transition, and for me, that puts more pressure on the centre backs, where, like, they have to do more work. And I'm like, if we could just go back to the basics. Like, I don't understand why, even for me, like, if you watch me watching Arsenal, I always complain about the basics. Like, we can't get the basics down right. Like, for example, like, when you catch us on the transition, like, the teams that know how to beat us on the transition, it's always about that left fullback side, like on the right hand side for most teams, where it's like, if you can get past the fullback when he's inside, he's always leaving space for the winger, so the winger will always have a chance to run at the centre back. And I'm like, how isn't that being addressed? Even another thing, with how high Rice is usually is, it means that whenever a team is playing through the midfield, they only have to face one midfielder, and getting past one midfielder is so easy. You see? And I'm like, these are things Arteta should have addressed, and he should be even experimenting with them in preseason. And I'm like, none of that is happening. None of that is happening. Like, the team isn't evolving. Like, the players aren't getting better. If anything, it's like they're getting worse. And I'm like, is this really a team that's going to win the league? That's the question that I keep asking myself. Like, we've already seen the supercomputer say that Arsenal was going to finish third, and I'm like, from what we've seen so far, I don't doubt that, because, like, we've not improved. We've not addressed the issues that we have, especially on the left hand side. We've not addressed them at all. And I'm like, for me, that's not a team that's going to win the league. It's not going to happen. Like, go to another thing. If you watch how Odegaard plays and you watch how Nwaneri plays, Nwaneri as the 10, it's so clear he just needs the space. He just needs, if we put a double pivot behind him and we let him roam, he'll be better than Odegaard in that 10 position, because Odegaard is so right centric, and, like, even on that right hand side, his football is literally the exact same. Like, there is no degree of invention or even guile, where, like, when you watch Nwaneri play, Nwaneri can shoot from almost any distance. He wants to get into the box. Like, he wants to cover the space. He can cover his winger, where, like, Saka can come inside and he can hug the touchline. From Odegaard, there is none of that. Like, he just wants to cover that right center mid space, and, like, there's nowhere else he's going. Like for me, that doesn't make sense. Even as a 10, I'm like, how can your football be so predictable? And number 10 is supposed to be like the creative center of the team, where like you're supposed to be the most unpredictable player on the pitch. So like, for me, just that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, if we get Eze, I don't think Eze on the left is as good as Eze as the 10. Where like, I believe if Eze plays as our 10, our football will evolve because he can cover all spaces. He can cover on the right, on the left, and will stop that monotone football that's a result of Odegaard playing as the 10. So, like, for me, I'm just like, I keep asking the question, where is the football going? Like, are we going to evolve our football? Because, like, I've already started feeling bad for Gyökeres because, like, I don't think Arteta will evolve his football to suit his style of play. And because of that, guys will think he's not good enough. But I think we've already seen he's such a clean ball striker. If we just give him the chance to like expound, like if we create the space for him, he'll finish. Like we've already seen he's a good finisher. But the question comes in terms of like, can Arsenal adapt his football to play to his strengths instead of diminishing his style of play in order to suit ours? And that's the question I'm asking. Because like, for a winning team, we need to play to our players, to our footballers' strengths. Like I've always said, the best coaches know how to get the best out of their players. Because as much as tactics play a part, it's your players who play on the day. They're supposed to recognize what they're supposed to do on the day. And if you're not improving them to understand all these things, and you want them to stick to patterns of play and like certain tactics where like they have to be rigid and they can't be flexible about their football, I'm like, that's not a winning team. Like it's not going to work. Like eventually something has to give. And we've already seen how like from last season the Emirates atmosphere is like getting toxic. And I already tweeted about this. Like if we continue with this style of football, by the time we reach December, so many Arsenal fans will be calling for Arteta out, and people will think that's like it's a system of like, it's like systemic rejecting of just Arteta. No, for me, no, it's a rejection of the football we are playing. Because like I think our peak at Arteta was like last season, but one, where we used to beat teams like 5-0 in 30 minutes, or we scored 3 goals in 30 minutes. Like it was high pressure, fast paced football, and it was unpredictable. But now, teams have understood like how Arsenal play, and instead of Arteta improving our tactics or like the methods we use to score goals, it's like we are focusing on set pieces, and I'm like, what is that? Because like I started watching Arsenal because of the football, not because of whatever Arteta is doing. Like it for me, Arsenal has always been the team with the best football, Barcelona. So like I don't understand why Arteta is pushing us to be a set piece team when it's not even helping. It's not delivering trophies. It's not. You've not, so like if anything, we're getting worse in defense. Like I don't understand. Like for me, that's the problem with Arteta's football right now. I just don't understand where it's going and like what he's trying to do, because it doesn't make sense. And like when I think about the players, I'm like, we with Arteta's style of play right now, we probably won't get the best out of Gyökeres. Saka has been good, but like the over reliance on him is like, it's way too much. And like for me, if I'm a coach, I'm telling Saka to watch Mahrez and like Saka's and Salah's finishing, because like if I want to improve him, those are the only bits of his play that need to improve, because he's already a complete player. We just need to start getting more out of him. I'm like, look at Martinelli on the left. A good coach would probably have turned him into an inside forward where he cuts inside to score and like the centre forward drifts wide. But we see none of that from Arsenal. I've already talked about Rice. Like, we keep him too high, so high, and we signed him as a 6. Like, we've seen he's good enough to play as an 8. So, like, why are we limiting his abilities from the 6th position by just sticking him forward? It doesn't make any sense. Look at the 6th position. Zubimendi is a fantastic signing. But you see, when you see Zubimendi play for the Spain national team or at Sociedad, his best strength were the passes where he could range pass. So we just need to create that avenue and open up the pitch where, like, if Saka is hugging the touchline and like we need to change play quickly, Zubimendi is that player. He'll make that pass. He'll make that forward pass. You see, and I'm like, will Arteta's system get the best out of him? The way I think about it right now, I don't think so. But like, I'm saying all this in hindsight because like I want to see Arteta's football evolve. But as it is right now, I really don't see where it's going, and I really don't think we're going to win the league as it is. So like, for me, as an Arsenal fan right now, my expectations aren't that high. Like, I don't think we're going to win the league with this style of football, and I certainly don't think we're winning any trophies. So like, it all comes down to the question of like, will Arteta evolve the game or like evolve our football, and will he make like good signings? Because like I've talked about Eze and Leao. For me, all the other we just need to get rid of the dead weight, all of it. Because like, if you're not going to use Martinelli as a striker, let him go. Because keep sticking him on the left, and you're not improving his style of play. His value will continue diminishing. Look at Havertz. Havertz in pre-season has been terrible as the striker. Let me not lie, he's been terrible as the striker. You see his strengths come in when like it's on the press or like it's making small passes, but like he can't carry the like you see his technical ability. And I've talked about how I liked Havertz at Leverkusen, but you see now his technical ability is just not up to par. So like, for me, just let him go. Like, we should be looking to move him on. Trossard should be let go. Like, somebody like Jesus, if he comes back from the injury, it's well and good, but like, we should be looking to move him on. For me, because like look at how good Dauman is. I'm asking, like, right now, Dauman should be the substitute for Saka off the right, because he's shown he's more than good enough, and we've seen players like Yamal at Barca where like age isn't a number. I mean, age isn't a factor. Age is just a number. It's not a factor. So like, all these dead weights that we're keeping that are not really improving the team, we should just let them go and get better players. But it still all comes down to, will Arteta and his team make all these right decisions, or will we keep whatever is going on right now? And for me, it's not really looking good going forward. Like, just to be honest. But there's still time. Hopefully he'll see all these things and like, maybe the team will improve. But for now, I'm keeping my expectations as low as possible.